The Quantum Lottery, Earth's Unexpected Windfall. Dr. Amelia Zhao never expected to make history on a Tuesday afternoon. As she adjusted the settings on the quantum oscillation detector, a device she cobbled together from spare parts and sheer determination, the lab hummed with the usual symphony of beeps and whirs. Her team at the Unified Earth Science Institute had been chasing theories about quantum communication for years, hoping to unlock faster-than-light information transfer. "Another day, another failure," muttered her assistant, Raj, his eyes heavy from yet another all-nighter. Amelia shot him a wry smile. "Failure is just success in progress, Raj. Einstein didn't build Rome in a day." As if the universe itself had a sense of irony, at that precise moment, the quantum oscillation detector erupted in a cacophony of alarms. Screens flickered with impossibly complex equations, and a holographic display materialized above the device, showing a swirling vortex of colors no human had ever seen before. "What in the name of Schrödinger's cat?" Amelia gasped, her fingers flying over the controls. The vortex stabilized, and a voice echoed through the lab, not from any speaker, but seemingly from the air itself. "Congratulations, sentient beings of Sol 3. You have successfully decoded the galactic quantum lottery transmission. As the 1 millionth species to achieve this feat, you have won the grand prize." Amelia and Raj exchanged bewildered looks. "I'm sorry," Amelia said cautiously. "Did you say lottery?" The voice continued, tinged with what could only be described as bureaucratic boredom. "Indeed, the Galactic Quantum Lottery is the initiative by the Intergalactic Committee for the Advancement of Emerging Intelligences. Your species has demonstrated the bare minimum requirements for faster-than-light communication. Thus, you win." "Win what, exactly?" Raj asked, his scientific skepticism warring with growing excitement. "Oh, you know, the usual," the voice replied. "A complete database of galactic knowledge, schematics for faster-than-light travel, and membership in the Galactic Coalition. Congratulations. Please expect delivery within 1 solar rotation of your planet." Before either scientist could respond, the vortex collapsed, leaving the lab in stunned silence. For several long moments, Amelia and Raj stared at each other, the implications of what had just happened slowly sinking in. Then, as one, they burst into hysterical laughter. "We did it," Amelia whooped, grabbing Raj in a bear hug. "We made first contact." "By accident," Raj added, tears of joy streaming down his face. Their celebration was cut short by the lab door bursting open. A squad of security personnel rushed in, led by General Helena Ortiz of the Global Defense Force. "Dr. Zhao," the general barked, "explain why every quantum sensor on the planet just went haywire." Amelia straightened, trying to compose herself. "General, you might want to sit down for this. We just won the galactic lottery." The next 24 hours were a whirlwind. As news of the contact spread, the world erupted in a frenzy of excitement, fear, and disbelief. Governments scrambled to form a unified response, religious leaders sought meaning in the cosmic game of chance, and social media exploded with memes about Earth's dumb luck. Amelia found herself thrust into the spotlight, trying to explain concepts she barely understood herself to a global audience. "It's not that we're special," she said in one particularly viral interview. "We just happen to be the millionth monkey at the millionth typewriter to accidentally type out Hamlet." As promised, exactly 1 Earth rotation after the initial contact, the sky lit up with a dazzling display of quantum fireworks. A sleek, obelisk-like structure materialized in the middle of the United Nations Plaza in New York City. It hummed with otherworldly energy, its surface covered in swirling, ever-changing symbols. A global coalition of scientists, led by Amelia and her team, approached the obelisk. As they neared, a section of it dissolved, revealing a control interface that looked suspiciously like an old Earth computer keyboard. "Seriously," Raj muttered. "Advanced aliens, and they use QWER2." Amelia shrugged. Maybe it adapted to what it thinks we can understand. She stepped forward, her fingers hovering over the keys. With a deep breath, she typed, "Hello." The obelisk hummed louder, and a holographic screen sprang to life above it. Text scrolled across it. "Where's Seoman, Cyril 3, Desired Nation, Earth. Galactic Knowledge Database, UNOCKE. Faster than light schematics available. Coalition membership PE. Warning. No LG makes heroes psyching HFY Cultural SAVOCK. Proceed with solution. Appendix. Roy Hasieltes of Rory CENT Galactic SPCAE's Survey. Earth Ranking. 1 million of 1 million and 1 SPACEFA RINE. Speedy size. Civilization correlate pace. 73.2%. Pro GCTD extinction. 89.7%. Pro GCTED galactic MPCT. Negligible. Good Lucic. The assembled crowd read the message in stunned silence. Amelia felt a cold knot form in her stomach. They had won the lottery, yes, but the prize came with a stark reality check. Humanity, in the grand scheme of things, was at the very bottom of the galactic totem pole. General Ortiz was the first to break the silence. "Dr. Zhao, what does this mean for us?" Amelia took a deep breath, her mind racing with the implications. "It means, General, that we've been given a chance. A small one, but a chance nonetheless. We're behind, way behind, but now we have the knowledge to catch up." She turned to address the crowd, her voice gaining strength. "We've been given the keys to the universe, but it's up to us to learn how to drive. We're the underdogs, the longshots. But that's always been humanity's specialty, hasn't it? We've gone from cave paintings to quantum communication in the blink of a cosmic eye. Who's to say we can't surprise the galaxy again?" As her words were broadcast around the world, Amelia saw a spark of determination ignite in the eyes of those around her. Yes, the odds were stacked against them. Yes, the galactic community clearly didn't think much of humanity's chances, but they had been given a shot, however small, at greatness. "Let's get to work," Amelia said, turning back to the obelisk. "We've got a lot to learn, and not much time to do it." As she began to delve into the vast database of galactic knowledge, Amelia couldn't help but feel a mix of terror and exhilaration. Humanity had stumbled onto the galactic stage through sheer dumb luck. Now, they would have to prove they deserved to stay there. Little did they know, their quantum lottery win was about to set off a chain of events that would shake the very foundations of the galaxy. The underdogs of the cosmos were about to bare their teeth, and the universe would never be the same. Galactic ridicule and the rise of Operation Starfall. The novelty of Earth's cosmic lottery win wore off faster than a cheap anti-gravity tattoo. 6 months after the quantum obelisk's arrival, humanity found itself the laughingstock of the galactic community. It started with the arrival of the Zixel, a gelatinous species that served as the Galactic Coalition's official welcoming committee. Their ship, a gargantuan blob of semi-transparent protoplasm, hovered over New York City like a cosmic jellyfish. "Greetings, Earthlings," the Zixel ambassador burbled through a translator, its body rippling with what might have been amusement. "We've come to assess your progress." What followed was a series of increasingly humiliating cultural exchanges. The Zixel marveled at humanity's quaint technology, giggled at our primitive art, and nearly asphyxiated themselves, if they even breathed, laughing at our rudimentary attempts at faster-than-light travel. The final straw came during a global broadcast. The Zixel ambassador, flanked by holographic representatives from a dozen other species, addressed humanity. "Dear Earth," it began, pseudopods waving dramatically, "you've been a delightful diversion. Your fumbling attempts to join galactic society are adorably pathetic. However, the coalition has decided that your inclusion was clearly a clerical error. The alien paused for effect, its gelatinous form quavering with barely contained mirth. We're rescinding your membership and reclaiming the knowledge obelisk. Do try not to blow yourselves up. Or do. It might be entertaining to watch. As the transmission cut off, an eerie silence fell over the planet. Humanity, so recently elated by its cosmic windfall, now faced the crushing weight of galactic rejection. In a secret bunker beneath the Mariana Trench, an emergency meeting of Earth's leaders convened. Dr. Amelia Zhao, now director of Earth's Cosmic Integration Program, stood before them, her face grim. "Ladies and gentlemen," she began, "we have two choices. We can accept the galaxy's judgment and retreat into obscurity, or we can prove them wrong." General Helena Ortiz leaned forward, her eyes glinting with a dangerous light. "I vote for option 2, with extreme prejudice." Amelia nodded, tapping her neural interface. A holographic display sprang to life, showing a dizzying array of schematics and equations. Before the Zixil could reclaim the obelisk, we managed to download approximately 7% of its database. It's not much, but it's enough to give us a fighting chance. She gestured, and the hologram zoomed in on a complex diagram. "This is the key to our survival. We're calling it the Nexus Engine." The room buzzed with murmurs as the leaders tried to make sense of the alien technology. Amelia continued, her voice rising with passion. "It's not just a faster-than-light drive. It's a reality manipulator. With this, we can rewrite the laws of physics on a localized scale." President Yaram Beki of the African Union leaned back, her brow furrowed. "That sounds dangerous." "Extremely," Amelia agreed. "Which is why the coalition keeps it under strict lock and key. But we have nothing left to lose. I propose Operation Starfall." She outlined the plan, watching as expressions of shock, fear, and finally, determination spread across the faces of Earth's leaders. It was audacious, borderline insane, and might just be humanity's only hope. "We'll need everyone," Amelia concluded. "Scientists, engineers, soldiers, artists, dreamers. This is humanity's last stand, and by God, we're going to make it count." The vote was unanimous. Operation Starfall was a go. Over the next year, Earth became a hive of frenetic activity. The Mariana Trench facility expanded into a vast underwater city, shielded from prying alien eyes. Every resource was poured into the project. Old rivalries were set aside as nations pooled their strengths. Deep in the heart of the oceanic complex, a new ship took shape. The HS Defiance was like nothing Earth had ever produced, a fusion of stolen alien tech and human ingenuity. At its core pulsed the experimental Nexus Engine, a swirling vortex of quantum impossibilities barely contained by human will. As the day of reckoning approached, Amelia stood before the Defiance, marveling at what they had accomplished. General Ortiz joined her, both women silent for a long moment. "Do you think we can pull this off?" Ortiz finally asked. Amelia turned to her, a fierce grin spreading across her face. "They think we're a joke, Helena. It's time we deliver one hell of a punchline." Aboard the Zixil mothership, hovering at the edge of the solar system, the ambassador was enjoying a relaxing bath in a nutrient pool when the alarms began to blare. "What now?" It gurgled irritably, oozing towards the command center. "Have the humans accidentally set their atmosphere on fire again?" The ship's sensors focused on a point near Earth's moon. Space itself seemed to ripple and tear, and from the rift emerged a ship unlike anything the Zixil had ever seen. The HS Defiance hung in space, its hull shimmering with otherworldly energies. Amelia's voice crackled across all frequencies in perfect galactic standard. "Attention, Galactic Coalition. You may have invited us to the party by mistake, but we decided to crash it anyway. Humanity is coming, and we're bringing one hell of a bottle to share." Before the stunned Zixil could react, the Defiance vanished in a burst of quantum fire, leaving behind a calling card burned into the side of the alien ship. Earth, no longer your PNCHline. As alarms rang across the galaxy, humanity had served notice. They weren't just joining the game, they were changing the rules. Operation Starfall had begun, and the cosmos would never be the same. The Nexus engine, humanity's cosmic wild card. The HS Defiance erupted into existence at the heart of the Galactic Coalition's capital world, Harmonix Prime. But this was no ordinary faster-than-light jump. As the ship materialized, reality itself seemed to hiccup. On Harmonix Prime, gravity reversed for a split second. Buildings briefly turned to liquid, then snapped back to solid form. Every being on the planet simultaneously sneezed in perfect harmony, and in the sky, written in clouds that tasted faintly of strawberries, appeared the message, "Humans have entered the chat." Aboard the Defiance, Amelia Zao gripped her command chair, her knuckles white. "Status report," she barked, fighting down a wave of nausea. Lieutenant Commander Yuki Tanaka, head of engineering, looked up from her console, her eyes wide with a mix of terror and exhilaration. "The Nexus engine performed beyond expectations, Captain. We didn't just travel through space. We rewrote it." Before Amelia could respond, the ship's AI, affectionately named Davey, Dynamic Adaptive Virtual Entity, chimed in. "Captain, I believe I may have developed a sense of humor during the jump. Is this normal? Also, incoming transmission from the surface." The view screen flickered to life, revealing a being that looked like a cross between a grand piano and a very confused octopus. "What in the name of the harmonic convergence did you just do?" it demanded, its tentacles flailing in agitation. Amelia stood, smoothing down her uniform. "Greetings, esteemed members of the Galactic Coalition. I'm Captain Amelia Zao of Earth. We've come to discuss our membership status." The piano octopus, which Davey helpfully identified as Grand Harmonizer Xyloph, leader of the Coalition, seemed to deflate slightly. "Earth, but you're supposed to be primitive. How did you even get here?" Amelia allowed herself a small smirk. "Let's just say we've been practicing. Now about that membership." What followed was the strangest diplomatic negotiation in galactic history. The Defiance's mere presence had thrown the Coalition into chaos. Every time they tried to scan the ship, their instruments went haywire, showing everything from a giant space tulip to an infinite regression of smaller Defiances. Meanwhile, the Nexus engine's effects continued to ripple across Harmonix Prime. Gravity became more of a suggestion than a law. Time began to flow backwards in certain neighborhoods, and everyone who drank water suddenly gained the ability to communicate telepathically with houseplants, an ability that faded after a few hours, leaving the plants feeling rather lonely. As the Coalition leaders bickered among themselves, Amelia leaned towards her first officer, Commander Raj Patel. "Raj, remember when I said this mission was our chance to prove ourselves?" Raj nodded, eyeing the chaos on the view screen. "Yes, Captain. I'm starting to think we may have overshot the mark a bit." Their conversation was interrupted by a new alarm. Lieutenant Tanaka's voice was tight with panic. "Captain, the Nexus engine is destabilizing. If we don't shut it down, it could tear a hole in the fabric of reality." Amelia's mind raced. Shutting down the engine would leave them stranded, at the mercy of a galaxy that had just begun to take them seriously. But the alternative? "Do it," she ordered. "Dave, broadcast to all frequencies. Let them know what's happening." As Tanaka worked frantically to contain the engine, Amelia addressed the Coalition. "Attention, everyone. Our experimental drive is experiencing some unforeseen complications. We're shutting it down to prevent any reality-ending paradoxes, but we may require assistance. Consider this a gesture of good faith." The next few minutes were tense. Alarms blared, the ship shuddered, and for one heart-stopping moment, everyone aboard the Defiance thought they had turned into sentient potatoes. They hadn't, but the fear lingered. Finally, with a sound like the universe itself heaving a sigh of relief, the Nexus engine powered down. the laws of physics reasserted themselves across Harmonix Prime, leaving behind a very confused and slightly singed population. In the sudden silence, Grand Harmonizer Xyloph's voice came through clear. "Captain Zao, I believe we may have underestimated your species. Perhaps we should revisit the matter of your membership, preferably with your ship safely docked and that infernal engine of yours deactivated." Amelia allowed herself a moment of triumph before responding. "We would be honored, Grand Harmonizer. And may I suggest we discuss the potential applications of our technology, under strict supervision, of course." As the Defiance was guided to a docking bay by a fleet of very nervous coalition ships, Amelia turned to her crew. "Well done, everyone. It wasn't pretty, but we've got their attention. Now comes the hard part." "You mean saving the galaxy from the unintended consequences of our actions wasn't the hard part?" Rach asked, only half joking. Amelia shook her head, a wry smile on her face. "No, Raj. The hard part is going to be teaching a galaxy full of advanced aliens how to think outside the box. If they thought we were unpredictable before, just wait until they get to know us." As the Defiance settled into its berth, the crew couldn't help but feel a mix of pride and trepidation. They had changed the game, all right. Now they just had to figure out the new rules, preferably before they accidentally turned the universe inside out. The galaxy would never be the same, and humanity was just getting started. The age of cosmic chaos had begun, with Earth leading the charge into a future where the impossible was just another Tuesday. The Paradox Plague and the Quantum Quarantine. 6 months after the HSS Defiance's dramatic arrival on Harmonix Prime, the galaxy was experiencing growing pains of cosmic proportions. Humanity's introduction of the Nexus engine had sparked a technological gold rush, with species across the coalition scrambling to replicate and improve upon Earth's reality-bending invention. The results were chaotic. On Harmonix Prime, in a hastily constructed facility known as the Terran Embassy, which looked suspiciously like a 1950s American diner, Amelia Zao rubbed her temples, trying to ward off an impending headache. Before her, a holographic display showed the latest galactic crisis. "Let me get this straight," she said, addressing the assembled alien diplomats. The Zookuks attempted to create their own version of the Nexus engine, but instead of bending space-time, they accidentally turned their entire species into a quantum superposition of existence and non-existence. Grand Harmonizer Xyloph, who had taken to wearing a tinfoil hat to ward off human unpredictability, waggled its tentacles in distress. "Precisely. Half of their population is flickering in and out of reality, and the other half can't decide if they're alive, dead, or delicious sentient sandwiches." Amelia sighed. "And I suppose they want our help." "Not exactly," Shiloh hesitated. "You see, their condition appears to be contagious." As if on cue, one of the alien diplomats, a crystalline being named Prism, suddenly shimmered and split into 7 identical copies, each a different color of the rainbow. "Oh, fantastic," all 7 prisms said in unison. "Now how am I supposed to file my taxes?" Amelia stood, her voice taking on the commanding tone that had become famous and slightly feared across the galaxy. "Right. We need to contain this before it spreads further. Dave, get me the Defiance. We're implementing Protocol Schrödinger's box." Within hours, the HS Defiance was in orbit around Zookuks Prime, its Nexus engine humming with barely contained power. Amelia stood on the bridge, flanked by her crew and a team of coalition scientists who still looked faintly nauseous from the journey. "Ladies, gentlemen, and assorted entities," Amelia addressed them. "We're about to attempt something never before seen in the history of the galaxy. We're going to quarantine an entire planet in a bubble of altered reality." Lieutenant Commander Tanaka spoke up, her voice tinged with worry. "Captain, the calculations for this are, well, they're more of a suggestion than actual math. We could end up turning the planet inside out or worse." Amelia nodded grimly, noted, "But if we don't contain this paradox plague, It could unravel the very fabric of the universe. Sometimes you have to roll the cosmic dice. Dave, initiate the sequence. The A's voice was uncharacteristically solemn, initiating Protocol Schrodinger's box. May the laws of physics have mercy on our souls, assuming we still have souls after this. The Nexus engine rolled to life, and reality around Zukux Prime began to warp. A shimmering bubble enveloped the planet, its surface rippling with equations and quantum probabilities. Inside the bubble, time began to flow backwards and forwards simultaneously. Cause and effect became a quaint suggestion rather than a rule. The Zukux found themselves experiencing every possible version of their lives all at once, which was enlightening but made it very difficult to decide what to have for dinner. As the quarantine took hold, something unexpected happened. The paradox plague, instead of spreading, began to feed on itself. The Zukux, in their state of quantum uncertainty, started to stabilize, finding a bizarre equilibrium in the chaos. Amelia watched the readings with a mix of awe and trepidation. "It's working," she breathed. "But how do we reverse it?" That's when things got really weird. Transmission cut through the quantum static, originating from inside the bubble. On the view screen appeared a being that looked like a cross between a Zoox, a human, and several mathematical equations. "Greetings, past selves," the being said, its voice echoing with infinite possibilities. "We are the Zukux, or rather, what the Zukux will become. Thanks to your quarantine, we've evolved beyond the constraints of linear existence. We quite like it here in our bubble. Thank you very much." Amelia blinked, trying to process this turn of events. "You're welcome, I think. But what about the paradox plague?" The quantum Zoox laughed, the sound rippling through probability waves. "Oh, that. We've reproposed it. It's our new public transportation system. Much more efficient than spaceships, though it does occasionally turn you into a potted plant for a few millennia." As the implications of this sank in, Grand Harmonizer Xylov's voice crackled over the comms, panic evident even through the static. "Captain Jao, we're receiving reports of other species deliberately exposing themselves to the paradox plague. They're calling it the next step in evolution." Amelia collapsed into her chair, torn between laughter and despair. "Congratulations, humanity," she muttered. "We came to join galactic society, and instead, we've triggered a pan-galactic existential crisis." As reports flooded in of other worlds attempting to replicate the Zukux ascension, Amelia realized that humanity's role in the galaxy had shifted once again. They were no longer the underdogs or the upstarts. They had become the cosmic catalysts, sparking a revolution in the very nature of existence itself. "Well, crew," she said, a wry smile playing on her lips, "it looks like our mission has changed. We're no longer here to prove ourselves to the galaxy. We're here to help the galaxy survive its own evolution, assuming we can figure out what survival means in a post-quantum reality." As the Defiance prepared to journey to the next crisis point, Amelia couldn't help but wonder. In trying to secure humanity's place among the stars, had they accidentally reshaped the very meaning of what it meant to be alive in this vast, chaotic universe? One thing was certain, the adventure was far from over. It was, in fact, simultaneously just beginning, ending and happening sideways through time. Just another day in humanity's new role as the galaxy's reluctant guides through the wonderfully weird cosmic wilderness they had unwittingly created.